So, what if you were living in a prison that you couldn't even see? It's a pretty powerful idea, right? Well, that's the whole concept at the heart of Marcia Manning's book, Self-Emancipation. And today, we're going to break down her guide for escaping those invisible chains that just might be holding you back. You know, Bob Marley really said it best. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. We're not talking about physical chains here. This is all about the prisons we build for ourselves, right inside our own minds. It's this idea that real freedom, true freedom, starts and ends with you. And this is where the book gets really challenging. It asks a tough question. What if most of us are unknowingly trapped on what it calls a personal plantation? A prison built not with actual walls, but with our own thoughts and with the expectations of everyone around us. So that leads us to maybe the most important question this whole book asks. What is your plantation? Let's really dig into what that actually means. See, Manning's point is that this plantation, it's not some physical place. It's a mental state. It's made up of those little nagging thoughts, oh, I'm not smart enough, or I could never do that. It's the pressure to just go along with the crowd, whether that's your friends, your family, or even a political party. Basically, it's anything that stops you from thinking for yourself and breaking away from the norm. And here's the thing. The book argues that this isn't just some personal failing. A lot of our modern systems, they're kind of designed to keep us dependent, to create what psychologists call learned helplessness. Just think about a typical job for a second. It promises security, right? But what's the real cost? Man, he just has this great phrase for it. Bound by benefits. We get so scared of losing our health insurance or our retirement plan that we stay stuck in jobs that, honestly, drain the life out of us. That's a perfect example of learned helplessness. We start to believe we don't have the power to change anything. And then there's this other trap she calls the beautiful, brilliant, but broke paradox. It's where you do everything right. You get a great education, you're smart, you're capable, but you end up shackled to this mountain of student loan debt. So you're brilliant, yeah, but you're not free. You're basically in financial servitude from day one. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little bleak, I know, but the book is called a blueprint for a reason. It offers a way out, and it all kicks off with making a pretty radical shift in how you think. So, step one, start challenging the cliches you live by. We all have them, these little sayings like, that's just the way it is. But are they really true for you? Second, you've got to develop real critical thinking skills. And that doesn't just mean finding evidence that proves you're right. It means being able to make a solid argument for what you believe. And finally, number 3, you have to commit to self-education for life. I love this quote from Jim Rohn. It just puts it so perfectly. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And the book's point here is that this kind of self-education, this is the real key to building genuine independence and, wealth too. And this might be the most important rule of the entire blueprint. Manning says you have to guard your mind at all costs. Think about it. Your mind is your single greatest asset. You can't let negativity, groupthink, or those limiting beliefs creep in and take over. All right, so once you've started getting your mind right, it's time to take action. The next big step is to stop just being a cog in someone else's economic machine and start building your own. This famous quote from Robert Kiyosaki is really at the heart of this whole section. If you want to create your own economy, you have to understand the fundamental difference between an asset, which is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability, which is something that takes money out of your pocket. It's that simple. So, okay, how do you actually do that? Well, first, you got to change your whole mindset about money. Start seeing it as a tool that can work for you, not the other way around. Second, focus on acquiring assets, things that can make you money even when you're sleeping. Third, just become a sponge for knowledge. Find mentors, read books, use all the amazing free resources online. And finally, and this one is huge, you have to learn to embrace failure. It's not your enemy, it's your best teacher. And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most critical piece of this whole blueprint. It's a psychological shift that honestly can make or break your entire journey to freedom. It all boils down to this concept called your locus of control. Basically, do you believe that your life is controlled by outside forces, fate, luck, other people, or do you believe that you are in the driver's seat? That's the difference between an external and an internal locus of control. And Manning argues that building that internal belief, that sense that you are the captain of your own ship, is the single most powerful thing you can do. And really, that's the whole journey the book lays out for you. It's about moving from being caged by learned helplessness and what other people expect of you to experiencing the incredible freedom that comes from a mind that is truly in control of its own destiny. So, there it is, the blueprint for self-emancipation. The book gives you the tools, but of course, it's up to you to actually use them. So the only question left to ask is, what are you going to build?